Alright everyone, the FCC is stepping in where I guess parts of the public and the corporate media apparatus won't step in. But I've got mixed feelings about this one. That's Colbert potentially getting schlonged by the FCC over his potentially obscene comments regarding Trump. Of course, he used, I believe, the term cock holster. The FCC will now determine whether that does or does not constitute obscene language, which of course, if you're on radio or on TV, not on the internet is like a FCC dead zone, which is good. That's why the internet's better. You're on radio, unless it's like satellite, like Sirius or something, or you're on regular cable, and you say something that's considered obscene, especially during certain hours of the day. Colbert would potentially fit in that slot, and you can get into a lot of trouble. You can get fined potentially tens or hundreds of thousands of dollars. You can get your license revoked to even be on the air. I don't really agree with this at the FCC level. I do think it's very, very funny to see Colbert sit there and have to worry about getting fucked by a government agency. I do find that because he's a big-time neoliberal, and so he likes big government, he likes censorship, he likes the politically correct crap, which is why 99% of his jokes are bland and boring. To see him get speared by the FCC like a dying manatee would be slightly funny to me. But I don't think that he should get fucked by the FCC anyway. Because I don't think the FCC should have any sway at all over this so-called obscene material. What fucking right does the government have to determine artificially what does or does not constitute obscene material or not? See, the problem is this. The FCC says, and the government says, these are public airwaves. They are essentially their public work. TV and radio are owned by the public jointly and collectively. And therefore, certain standards can apply to it according to the whim of the population. If the population doesn't want, hardcore porn on during daytime hours on regular cable, because kids might see it and stuff, and they have the right to levy that sort of regulation. The problem is, I don't know of anyone in specific who wants to levy most of these restrictions on cable or radio anyway. I simply, in this era, where you can go on the internet, including if you're under 18, and you can see people swearing up a storm, you can see pornographic material, you can see snuff videos and stuff like that. Isn't the FCC's regulations on cable and radio a little bit vestigial at this point? Like, they're already dying anyway. Like, cable has been dying off now for years, specifically because the content is boring. At what point are these commercial outlets that do business on TV and that rely upon advertisements and ratings and stuff, at what point are they going to collectively get together and say, we can no longer abide by these rules because, for any sort of interesting new content at all, it's all going on the internet and only the internet. It never makes its way to TV because it would be so heavily censored, nobody would listen to it. It's like some fucking music video. Look at music videos. You can see certainly the explicit versions of those music videos on YouTube. But you're not going to see them on TV. You're going to see probably the censored versions. Now, there are cases where they've definitely where the FCC has used more or less discretion in these cases. Some rap music video of people like, who are basically naked, wearing just a pasties and a G-string or something, and getting all oiled up and dancing around and all that stuff. And the FCC lets it be up there because there's no, obscene terminology or something used. But that's just words. Who friggin' cares what kind of words are used? I don't care if some rapper wants to stand there and the entire song, so-called, is just bitch over and over again. It doesn't matter. Most of the people who are absorbing that material are adults anyway. Those who aren't can easily find that uncensored material anyway on the internet, and there's really nothing you can do about it. You think your parental controls and stuff like that actually are going to stop anyone? I can remember earlier wave of the internet. I was in 6th grade or something. And I was looking up the Encyclopedia of Diarrhea and all of these things on the internet, and there was nothing to stop me. They had parental controls in the library at the time, and I didn't have my own home internet connection, because back then, we're talking late 90s, that was a lot more expensive. And so my family, which was, lower middle class at best at the time, certainly wasn't affording a home internet connection. We had the library, so it was all good, and it was mostly empty during the day. during after school hours. All the weirdo like adults would go there before those hours, do their like research, do their work and so forth. Then it was like kid time after like 3 o'clock to like 5 or 6. That was basically, oh yeah, all the school kids are, wow, it's the internet. You know, other than the rich kids, they went home to use their own internet. And there were like 1,000 ways around all the filters and stuff. It didn't take a genius to figure out how to do that. There were so many ways to access pornography. There were so many ways to access obscene humor. And it was already there. And now it's, not only is it still there, it's hosted on what you would generally consider like mainstream sites. You're going to find that stuff on Facebook. You're going to find all sorts of off-color humor. Maybe not pornography, but off-color humor, yeah. You're certainly going to find it on YouTube, which is way edgier than Facebook will ever be. You'll find that stuff on Twitter. There is nothing that can be done about stopping it. So my question is, isn't the FCC at this point vestigial when more and more people are turning to YouTube and on-demand sort of content if they're using something that approximates regular cable at all? Isn't it vestigial? Because those obscenity, the culture has changed. What was considered obscene in the 90s is no longer considered obscene. Back then, if you had gay men kissing, it was highly obscene. You know, Tipper Gore wanted to add homosexual imagery to the rating system for like music and radio and stuff to prevent people from even talking about, you know, being gay or something. And the internet would have fucked up that plan too anyway. But like even early wave internet, like early YouTube, like we're talking, you know, almost a decade ago. Even then, a lot of the stuff that was considered obscene by YouTube in those early years is no longer, they don't care about it anymore. Look at House of Air and how long that stayed up. It wasn't even real science. It was literally hardcore gay porn. And it stayed up for a week. All the flags in the world couldn't take it down. It was when people started talking. You know, that never created an advertising issue. I find that very funny, by the way. Little aside, House of Air gets put up. YouTube shows no proclivity towards taking it down because, oh, it's educational or some crap like that. And it's dudes shitting on each other. No corporate advertisers said to YouTube, well, I don't want my ads on this sort of video. I don't even want to take out ads on your site if you're hosting this there. But as soon as PewDiePie puts on a military hat, of course, they all begin fleeing because, it's insane. Oh, it's so obscene. It's horrible. Blasphemy, heresy, all this crap. It's crap. Yeah. What we need is to just fuck the FCC instead of letting it fuck radio and TV. Maybe then they'd improve enough to be watchable and listenable. Yeah, it would be nice if radio were a little more edgy. It's like right now. You think that the average black metal song you can actually hear on standard radio? No. And there's a reason for that. Yeah, that could compete, that kind of music, or like hardcore rap or something like that. That music could be there and potentially become more popular, except that it's all going to be heavily censored and unlistenable. That's a problem that the FCC created. And it should never have been empowered to this in the first place. That was sort of the late stage moralism as the outgoing, then largely democratic, by the way, moralists, all the real moral conservatives, you would say, as they began losing their moral sway and moral power, they got together with some evangelical right-wingers, some red state evangelicals, and they decide, oh, we're going to screw over radio and TV. We're going to make it unlistenable. We're going to start fining people. We want that money for stuff, so we're going to start fining people for accidentally saying damn it or something on air. And all the talent then fled radio and TV and went online. That's why the internet's so interesting. Not that you could save cable at this point anyway, probably. But no, I don't want to see Colbert screwed over by the FCC. Much as it would be very funny, much as though under the auspices of their regulatory system, he does deserve to be like fined or censored or something. Much as that's true, I don't agree centrally with the idea that they can do that in the first place. They shouldn't be able to fine somebody for what we would consider mundane, obscene material. Oh, they said a swear word. Who cares if they said a swear word? You know, Colbert's average audience is older anyway. Like he was popular among sort of my demographic. We're talking about people who are in their 20s or maybe early 30s or something. We're not talking about people who are like 10 years old they're not watching that crap. They don't even watch like the cable TV or anything like that. They barely watch the on-demand stuff. They're watching YouTube. like explicitly among the youngest demographic, like the teenage. It's all YouTube. YouTube is king. So, I mean, there's plenty of raw, uncensored, obscene material on YouTube, at least by their highly moralistic, extremely religious standards. Even like Obama's FCC, it's like a throwback to the Puritan movement or something like that. It doesn't make any sense. This isn't the 80s or the 90s or something like that. We've, I think, progressed in appreciating free speech more, actually, since then. That's why there's outcry anytime there is censorship, like on the web or something. The outcry exists. Back then, there was no outcry, except among some fringe groups. Now everyone cries foul when this sort of thing happens. Now, I don't want to see him fined or screwed over at all. I do want to see him come out and tell his audience, oh yeah, by the way, some of you are hypocrites because you'd want me to get kicked off air and have no sponsors if I leaned to the right, and made a similar joke about like Obama being, you know, Merkel's cockholster or something like that. You know, you'd be clamoring for me to be kicked off the air for being insensitive and politically incorrect. Some of you people are full of shit, and he should be honest enough to tell his audience that, but that doesn't mean the FCC should step in. That's about all. Peace out.